So welcome everyone to the Mastermind Book Club. And today we're reviewing a book that is, wow. I mean, I've read it before, but I got more out of it this time. And that's the reality. Does anyone remember the title of the book? No? Yes? 12 what? Did I lose you guys again? Hello? Hello?
We hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. John Maxwell's book, 12 Daily Practices to Success. 12 Daily Practices to Success. Now, these are practices that we all pretty much have come across, but not, I would say that most of us don't practice it on a daily basis. And it makes it much tougher to visualize, to really have just a checklist. And I mean, the proper word is being accountable, but the true reality is we don't have a routine to check ourselves and say, how are we doing with this? How are we doing with that? And this is one of those methods. I talked to someone by the name of Kelly G, who went to the John Maxwell program, and he says, he swears it changed his life. However, when you go through the program and become a coach, they only want you to do their program. And that's what he told me, whatever that means. So, hey, I think he has a wonderful program, and I think that it's worthwhile to educate and train and develop people to build on whatever it is that they're building, to realize whatever it is that they want to realize. So, what are these 12 disciplines? Number one, I'm going to go through these quickly because they're very important, and you can add, if you know, anything into this. Number one, attitude. Attitude. You've heard of attitude. But he adds a twist onto attitude. Attitude meaning gratitude, meaning positive, meaning the best that life can be. So there always is a positive way to look at it. And Dennis started out with a rough moment because he's distant from his parents. My mother's far away, and I'm hoping she doesn't get anything, because it's going to be very, very difficult for any of us to head down there unless we charter a private jet, maybe. Well, I don't know. They're allowing it. But attitude, in the way that John Maxwell explains it, is that when you wake up early in the morning, you should dedicate a few minutes of prayer to saying, to your God, and saying, God, I'm waking up, 0 complaints, 0 worries. I'm really glad to be awake. I haven't committed any gossip. I haven't talked bad about anyone. I haven't hurt anyone. So please, please, please help me, because I know it's going to get tougher throughout the day, and I need your guidance. So am I saying it exactly the way he said? Probably not. However, what I'm trying to get at is, isn't that a wonderful way to look at the start of your day? To look at the positive, to be able to say, I have 0 complaints, 0 worries, 0 gossip, 0 judgments, 0, 0, 0. But I have, on my end, I'm awake, I'm alive, and I can do something about it. So help me out. Be on my side. Isn't that wonderful? The way John probably said it much better than I could ever say it, but that's just the reality. Is we focus on stress, worries, and instead we should always be assessing the positive. So remember that. Assess. Look back today. What did you do right? What could you have done better? What could you have stopped from doing and made something else easier to do, because we all do too many things. Number 2, priorities. Priorities. Yes, go ahead.
David, it's really just pitch in for a second. Attitude in frequency, vibration, rhythm, from Maxwell's program, from all these other guys that are out there, the word attitude has always been negatively defined in our lives. You know, you got a bad attitude. You know, why are you acting that way? How come you're doing that this way? I mean, it's your attitude that other people are looking at saying, you don't know why you're doing it. Why are you doing it? And your first answer is going to be, I don't know, because that's who I am. Attitude is both positive and negative. And I just recently got introduced to another version of how your negative is as much important as your positive. So you can use your negative influence on what you're focused on as a positive direction for movement away from that point. So I knew where I was, where my parents were looking at me going, we're suffering because we're looking at you suffering. And then they see me in a positive momentum, but I'm running away from my negative, but they only see me in a positive direction. So your negative, understanding why your negative is in your attitude, is as important as to the positive direction, and may be even a more powerful push than your positive pull can be. So your attitude does make a difference. What are you focusing on? Why are you focusing on it? And how is it serving you?
Correct. Very good. John Maxwell does mention very similar to what you just said, but I am glad that you brought it up. Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate that. So number 2 is priorities. Priorities. So we have, on a day-to-day, let's say we have 100 things to do. And out of those 100 things to do, we usually get 80 of those things done. But in the end, what happens? We spread out too thin that we only accomplish 20% of what we actually set out to do, because it's so much, so overwhelming. So I don't know if any of you has experienced this, but the reality is that I've talked with some of you in reference to Pareto's principle, which John Maxwell mentions here as well, and it's the 80-20 principle. Well, in order to get 80% results, you're going to have to do 20% of your priorities, because doing more than 20% is only going to create chaos, and it's not going to get you to focus in on the most important things. Yes, we all have to sacrifice sooner or later, stop doing something in order to progress in another thing. Am I wrong? Does anyone agree with me?
Well, the term sacrifice, Reggie puts his stuff out there on a regular basis about differences. And it's not really about sacrificing, it's about, again, the difference of perspective. And I know that, everybody else here has a difference of what they think they need to give up to get what they want or get where they're going. But that difference is really just a matter of perspective. You're not giving up on what you've put a lot of effort into. And Ricky would say all the time, what got you here will not take you there, because what got you here is keeping you here. So sacrifice or letting go to lift up. So the 80-20, the Pareto principle is exactly that. What can you do less of to be more focused on what's going to serve you better, so that you can be more, have more, and give more? So it's not really a sacrifice. It's a growth formula that's been pre-existing since even before the centuries. So terminology and focus. The 80-20 Pareto principle, 100%.
Correct. Yes, it is. Yes. So priorities. What are your priorities? What are the top 3 things that you're doing on a daily basis out of 20 or 100 things that you have to do on a daily basis? Top three. I know that we all want more. I want more. priorities, but top 3 is a number that is usually easier to deal with. And it means having to let go of some things for the time being so that you can concentrate on the other more important things. So Warren Buffett usually makes a list of all the things he has to do, and then he goes through the list and he scratches off everything until he has only one thing remaining. So what do you do? What do you do when you have a list? Do you go through everything, or do you allow some things to go beyond, to let go, and to give it to another date? Pile up. A lot of people who are successful let a lot of things pile up. I don't know if you understand what it means to pile up, but what it means, it could be negative or it could be positive. And on the positive side, it means I'm letting all of these things stop so that I can concentrate on doing this 1, 2, or 3 things max. Got it? So priorities. Make sure that you understand whatever your priorities are right now, that you cannot allow yourself to be expanded so thin that you won't be able to concentrate on the most important priorities. What's next? Health. I'm certain a lot of you have heard of this. Health. Now, John Maxwell explained that he didn't bother too much about health. He wasn't worried until one day he had a Christmas party, and one of his employees hugged him and said, "Man, you're sweating." He didn't know he was sweating, so had a heart attack that day. He fell to the floor. He didn't know how important it was to get healthy. He didn't know how important it was to do exercise, to eat right, to balance himself. And what did he do? He slammed the brakes. He was very fortunate. He didn't have anything wrong with his heart. And that's around the time that the stents started coming into existence. So if most of you don't know that, the reality is that in order for us to have a balanced life, there are certain things we have to take care of. Because if you don't take care of your body, where else are you going to live? Your body is very important. Isn't it? Of course it is. That's why I always tell people, health might be last on your list, but it actually should be first. It's reasonable that you might or might not live as long as you want to because of your health, or you might live longer than you want to because of your health. So everything is correlating to your health. He also says that he cannot concentrate completely on being vegan or vegetarian or healthy, because how else would he enjoy a little bit of life? And he's found that there is balance in enjoying a little bit of everything. So for those of you who are worried that he's going to say that you have to be a vegan, that you have to do this, and that you have to do that, the reality is you can be vegan and you can still be unhealthy. You can be vegetarian and you can still be unhealthy. You can eat normal and still be unhealthy.
Or asked to rename the company. But anyone who saw
all right, there we go. So sorry about that. Somebody's got a conference somewhere. So health, very important, but health priority is being happy and healthy. The important key about health is the 4 letters that come in the front. Heal. Are you healing yourself? Are you allowing your body to heal from the fried food you had yesterday? Are you allowing your body to heal by doing some exercise? You don't have to be a maniac. You don't have to do weightlifting competitions, but do some exercise, something to get your heart rate going so that you get into a healthy habit. Number 4, family. Family. So a lot of us forget about family, especially if you have kids and a wife. John Maxwell, during the first 10 to 20 years of his life, forgot about family. And he didn't know that he had forgotten about it. However, he noticed because his co-workers used to tell him, or his colleagues used to tell him, you're working too much, go spend time with the family. And he wouldn't listen. He wouldn't listen until his wife one day went up in front of a crowd and said, and was asked, does your husband take care of you? No. I wish he would take care of me more. And that's when he started to change, when he was embarrassed in front of crowds of people. I don't know how many people were there. I wasn't there. So, but the reality is sometimes we need someone to tell us what is wrong in order for us to allow the opportunity, whether we want to fix it or let it be. And that's what John Maxwell's done. Number 5, thinking. So how much time are you allowing to thinking on a daily basis? How much time are you allowing to reading on a daily basis? How much time are you allowing to be able to see where you are, be grateful from where you came from, and to visualize, to envision where you're headed? John Maxwell says that he takes time to reflect, to visualize, and to meditate. Reflect, visualize, and meditate. Have you reflected today? What things did you do right today? What could have you done better? What else could you have done? What did you do right today? What could have you done better? What else could you have done? These are 3 simple questions. Ask yourself that. I ask myself that in my brain on a regular basis. That's why I know it. I know you guys can't see me on the camera, so I just turned it off there. Commitment. 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 Are you committed to staying on a path that might be filled with obstacles? Are you committed? You see, most of us have a self-contract that was given by me when we started this Mastermind Book Club. Maybe Dequan doesn't have that self-contract, but that was for you, to keep you accountable on knowledge, learning. That self-contract, which I could get Dequan, I don't know who else needs it on this group, but it's really, really important. I have immensely built up my knowledge account, and my bank account as well, because I have focused on building my knowledge account. It is really important to be able to commit to building your knowledge account through a self-contract, just like the one I gave you. You can apply that to anything, all right? Act upon whatever it is that you commit to. Don't just say you're going to stop doing X or you're going to start doing X. Do it, all right? Do it. Don't give yourself a choice. You have no choice. That's all you have to tell yourself. I have no choice. I've got to do this. I have no choice. Shut up. I've got no choice. Because your mind will play tricks on you. It's played a lot of tricks on me. That's why I speak in that sense. Yep, little crazy, right? Number 7, finances. Are you saving? And if you're not saving, are you spending less? Will your actions confess your motive, is what Dennis says here. Finances. Are you saving or are you spending less? How much more difficult can it be? Are you saving or are you spending less? Are you still buying expensive coffees, expensive takeouts and lunches and so on? When are you going to start saving that money? There's plenty of ways to save, right? One important book, or two important books that John Maxwell asks us to read in reference to finances is Ben Franklin's autobiography and George Clason's The Richest Man of Babylon. Actually, he says, I believe he said his autobiography, but The Richest Man in Babylon has to do with finances. I don't know if his biography does. We'll find that out soon, I guess. Number 8, faith. Faith. Again, this is where number 5 and number 8 are very similar. Meditation and study. Are you studying? Are you asking yourself questions? Are you strengthening your belief system? Are you grateful for being here? Are you getting to where you want to be one step at a time? We're not going to get there overnight. We're not going to be able to implement everything that we want in our life overnight. However, the reality is this. We all can measure ourselves the way that we want to. And what better way to measure ourselves just by asking ourselves simple questions. What did I do today? What did I do right today? What didn't I do? What else could I have done, or something similar? Doesn't have to be perfectly said, all right? Always be aware that it's not the big things that have to change. It's the small things. It's the small things, whatever it is. Maybe spending more time with family or in the woods or away from your jobs, whatever it may be. Number 9, relationships. Now, this is very important. Why? What is your management system for your relationships? How many relationships do you have? Friends? I don't mean husband, wife. I mean friends, mentors. Well, if you have a relationship with a spouse, and that's fine as well. But what do you do? How do you manage it? How do you live up to having a relationship that is worthwhile? So if you need a management system with your relationships, when is now the time to get it going? Because remember, tomorrow is around the block. But what happens if you need someone in your life? Someone to talk to, someone to guide you, someone just to listen. You don't have to say anything. Listen. It's powerful just to listen. You don't always have to say words. At times I've spoken to Dennis, and I haven't said much. Dennis goes, why haven't you said anything? Well, we don't always have to have words to listen. Listen is very powerful. Listening is very hard. But if you practice it, you'll get used to it. Right, Dennis? Thanks, Dennis. Number 10, generosity. Generosity. Do we always have to be generous?
Just keep a note on the comments. I'm adding into what you're saying, and you're 100% right. The skill of listening is also the skill of being aware of your environment and everything so far. And Maxwell is very good at pointing out being aware of where you really are. One of the things you and I have to talk about is I have a one-sheet outline for exactly that. That awareness has to have questions, validity from either where you are, you're running away from, or where you're going towards. So you listening and not pitching in sometimes bothers me because I'm looking for that input and direction, that reaction. But what serves me better is listening to me express myself either in a positive sense or in an angry sense or in a distressed sense. I'm listening to my voice coming out of my mouth going, damn, did I just say that? But then I also realize that I have that intelligence, that I have knowledge I'm not acting on. So, you know, we're talking about here, we're talking about presence, we're talking about thinking, you know, putting yourself in your priority management situation of your mind. Where's your operating system?
That's
Actions,
right.
metrics, gratefulness, attitude. It's all about monitoring your metrics of progress. Where have you been and where are you now? And what got you here? Using those metrics that have got you here, are they good enough to keep you going further? Or is this the best that those metrics have given you? So do you need somebody else's voice or reflection? Because in your progress to where you've gotten, there's intelligence that you're not adding to your formula to your next level. There's intelligence that you're like, you know what, if I get to here, maybe I can use that. If I learn this, maybe I can do that. If I learn how to do stocks, maybe I can do stocks better. You know, if I can learn how to do bit currency, then maybe I can do that better. If I can learn how to build a business, then maybe I can show it, you know, whatever it is, you've learned additional stuff that you're not acting on. And at times like this, where other people are seeing a crisis, and if you stop judging your metrics on where you've been, use those same metrics based on the gap of where you need to be your better self. Maxwell has a very unique and very specific population that he serves to. If you look into him and his history, and I've listened to a lot of stuff he's presented out. So yes, a lot of his formulas are generically acceptable across the board. Following him specifically will bring you into his specific environment. But when you're able to put that mirror up and ask, how does this serve my progressive momentum? If that helps anybody, then that's my 2 cents in there.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. That's in reference to relationships. Number 9. Yeah, and I guess to some extent, generosity as well, to some extent. But
Just muted me. Hello? Silence is golden.
we take it for granted. We don't believe its power. We don't know it exists because we're focused on other things. So again, number 10, generosity. When have you given thanks? Did you give thanks today? Were you grateful in any way? Think how you can express gratitude today. Have you thought about that? So yes, it leads to attitude. Some of these somewhat intertwine with each other. So number 1, attitude, and 10, generosity, they intertwine. And then what's the other one? The other 2, it is thinking, which is number 5, and faith to a certain extent. They are intertwined here. And I believe that these are very, very good ways to measure yourself. And we're going to see that as time goes on in the next week with the next book. Now, this is something that I have not practiced. Oh, yes, I have. I have practiced this before John Maxwell said this. When have you written a note to yourself about being thankful? When? When have you written a note to yourself about being thankful? Thankful for the things you've accomplished. Thankful for the things that you have. A thank you note is very, very powerful. I have done it. And I'm not just telling you to do it, but consider it. Figure out how many things have you accomplished. Sometimes we take things for granted. We don't really think about all the things that we accomplished. Maybe it's dedicating time to your kids, to your grandkids, to your nephews, nieces. Maybe it's dedicating time to some other family member or friend. Whatever it is, everything that you do, you're accomplishing something. Be grateful for it. So this is a reality. Be generous in giving thanks. Values. Number 11, values. Have you learned something new today? Have you had a new experience? Are you actively learning? So this is where this book comes in. We have one more to go before this, but values are very powerful. We could do a whole session on values. Actually, on each and every one of these, we could do a whole session. They're very, very powerful. Now, values, in reference to how John Maxwell says, he dedicated time to work, dedicated time to his family, after he realized how important it was to even dedicate time to his own health. So these are values that we have to realize. Whatever it may be for you, it might not be those, it might be different. Number 12, and most importantly, is growth. Growth has to do with progress, it has to do with generosity, and it has to do with value. Are you building your brain account? Are you growing? Are you learning each day? Are you taking in these new experiences? And are you actively learning? This class here is meant for this reason, to learn, to be able to take on books that most people will neglect to touch. When I started out listening to books, I was like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Now it's easy. E+E formula. What does that mean, Dennis?
Your education versus your entertainment.
Here we go. All right. I thought it meant something else. But
a lot of people will look at spending time, spending effort in trying to reduce their challenges by fun, by entertainment, by something that's going to make you happy and enjoy. But when you balance out your education versus your entertainment, and both of them are going to bring you happier results at the other end. There's a guy I just started listening to, is Michael Jr. And Michael Jr. turned around and he said that he used to try and give everybody a laugh. He was trying to be the person to make everybody laugh. He was giving the laughs. And then he turned around and realized that somebody had said to him, stop trying to make people do things. Stop trying to make people laugh. Find the reason why you're giving people the opportunity to find happiness, and they will laugh. So what we're looking for is we're looking for the direct result of our actions. We're looking for the immediate reaction, even if it's in an argument. Hey, why'd you do that? I'm looking for an argument. Oh, all right. Hey, you're throwing your gloves on the floor, and that's a disease that you're spreading around to other people. You could be the loaded weapon that's killing other people, and you're just carelessly throwing your gloves on the ground. It's easier to find the negative that's around us.
Yes.
And react to that.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct.
But what he's saying here, when you turn your education towards your entertainment value, and right now the entertainment value is low, so you're looking for education, but are you looking for confirmation, validation, or inspiration? It's easy to sit there and judge other people from where we were. It's easier to look at other people saying, you're better than where I am. But when you're looking for the inspiration to step up and represent from where you've been, that education versus entertainment formula, that idea that where I've been has served me up until now and I need to shift. So the gratitude of my past experiences that have pushed me farther by challenges that I wasn't comfortable on their growth. Whether it's the inspiration, the attitude, the modeling, the who's around me in my network, who's bringing me to be more than I thought I've been, even though I thought I was at my most, my pushed, my hardest, my hurtest. But now I need to step up. I want to step up. So I'm looking for new education. I'm looking for new things to be grateful for. I'm looking for a positive mental attitude. I'm looking for the environment that's going to help me grow. And it's challenging and it's painful. So these books that you're offering, the information that you're allowing us to experience in a directed path. So all the books that we've gotten up until now are all about minor shifts of behavior or minor shifts of focus. If nothing that you've given us is 100%, turn your life around 90 degrees, make a shift, hard turn, go at it 100%. No, it's just little behavior patterns that over time will give us the leadership space that other people can say, wow, we went through a hard time, but you came out better than I did. How can I follow you? And David, thank you for offering this mindset book club. It's just the information alone is invaluable. And the shifts in the stuff that I've been able to do in the last 6 months, just being part of this group, is phenomenal. It doesn't show a lot, but if you look at my metrics, it's phenomenal. And I wanted to thank you. So,
well, thank you, Dennis.
That helps everybody.
Thank you. This book leads to a few avenues for each of us. And one of them is, are you measuring yourself? You could use the 12 disciplines that he uses, or you can use the disciplines that we're going to use in our next book, since John Maxwell recommended it. I've read it already, and probably some of you have read it, but I'd like you to listen to it, if possible, or if you want to read it, because it's a short book. It's Ben Franklin's autobiography, Benjamin Franklin's autobiography. Ben Franklin is one of the people that John Maxwell followed as a person. Not that they were around at the same time, but that's one of the people he modeled. John Maxwell did 12 disciplines. Ben Franklin had 13. Your gaps before your gaps forward. I didn't read that, Dennis. Hold on 1 second. Let's see what you just put here, Dennis. Your gaps before or your gaps forward. Okay, that's right. So this is what I want to leave you with. Number one is the books that we're going through on a weekly basis are putting you closer to being a chief executive officer at any company. At any company. Why? Because the average CEO reads 50 to 60 books. I'm pretty certain it's what it is. 50 to 60 books. If we keep reading a book a week, I don't know how long a lot of us are going to be able to handle that. I don't know if many of you are handling it. Like, I listened to this book almost twice throughout the week. How do I come up with the time? Well, I put it on fast forward. That's the advantage with YouTube. You can put the voice fast forward, and then I take notes and I rewind when I can. So now that we have even more time, make sure that you're dedicating more time to learning. So another thing is, we have someone here on this group that I'm going to put them on the spot. Ariane is in this group. I don't know if she can listen, but Ariane can help you with her expertise. And I wanted to bring her on Thursday and see if she can address some of that. Ariane, are you listening, or are you unable to talk?
I'm on.
You are, Ariane. So, Ariane, I'm putting you on the spot. How's Thursday for you?
This Thursday, not so good.
Not so good. Next Thursday.
Next Thursday should be fine.
All right. Ariane has a very good expertise. I got to see a few things of what she does. It's like, oh my God. Ariane, where have you been?
Getting my stuff together.
Yeah, because most of us don't know what you do. So what we'll do is we'll put a small flyer together to try and get more people on and see how we can.
Sounds good to me. I know I don't get a chance to really read all the books, but I like jumping in on the conversations. I'm getting like the clip notes and.
Nope. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
No, I'm saying I like jumping in to kind of hear what you guys are discussing, even though I haven't read the books. You know, you guys are kind of like giving me the clip notes and, you know, the things to focus on. But definitely reading more is still on my list.
It's something that we all would benefit from. And the reality is that these CEOs, is not that they work harder, it's that they study harder, right? So these books are the keys to our success. Maybe we have the right books, maybe we have part of the right books, but I know that we're on the path to improving our own lives. And most people will never understand it, how important the value of this class is. It is a true mastermind, but most people don't know that. They believe that a mastermind is something else. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But I do know that it has to do with having everyone together, cooperating and building. So this is my review for the 12 Disciplines of Success by John Maxwell. Does anyone want to comment? See Trudy, Dequan, Reggie. I know Reggie's. Charles, oh, you're here. Charles and Ty. Ty is here. Oh my God, this is great. So if one of you wants to comment, the mic is yours. If you know how to unmute yourself, let me see. I'll try and unmute. If not, you can unmute yourself. You can mute yourself back. Trudy, I see you're unmuted.
Hi, David. How's everyone?
Wonderful. Glad to
Good.
hear you.
Well, thank you. It's good to hear all of you as well. And like the lovely lady just said, she doesn't always have the opportunity to read all the books, but she loves to listen in and hear the key points. And tonight, this book is one of those moments for me, unfortunately. But I love the Mastermind Book Club. It's one of the best things that has happened in my life lately. And talking about giving thanks, David, I cannot say thank you enough actually for being committed to this club and for the way that you pour into all of our lives. I truly appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. You know that there are people who want this book club ended.
Well, listen, I will praise this book club until thy kingdom comes.
Wow. Well, thank you.
It truly
Why'd you
is
say that,
transformational.
What's that?
Why'd you say that? There are people who want the book club ended.
Well, because they see that I've started out something new and they feel that I'm taking away, but
Yeah.
that's how it is. That's how people react to new things.
Different
That's weird.
for different folks. And maybe the book club is not for everyone, but for the folks that are a part of the book club that truly values it, you don't ever have to worry, because to me, I found more value in this than a lot of other things.
Got it.
So, yes.
Thank you,
That's just
Trudy.
my 2 cents.
Thank you, Trudy. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So be encouraged that you're making a tremendous difference.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you, Trudy, too. Thank you very much. Anyone else want to? Yes, Charles.
Yes, I just want to say I appreciate you and I thank you for giving value to me and for organizing this book club. And as you said in the book Think and Grow Rich, the mastermind is all of us coming together, creating that additional mind. So the things that Dennis was saying were right on point, and I appreciate Dennis' input tonight. So I learn every time I get on, even if I don't complete the task as the young lady was saying. But I'm extremely grateful.
Thank you, Charles, for that. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, Knowledge is power if you have the potency to put it in place, into practice. If you don't build the inertia, then it's not going to go anywhere. So energy, let's create energy from knowledge. Knowledge is what gets us to be CEOs. Maybe not exactly a CEO at one of these prestigious companies, but you bet it's going to be at a prestigious company that you will be able to preside over. So that's the reality. A lot is learned from these books, and don't neglect it. So for next week, we're gonna go through Benjamin Franklin's autobiography. I know it's a small book. I don't know why this book is 6 hours on YouTube, but what I suggest is you put it at a speed a little bit quicker, so that way you get through the book. And if you need to slow it down, and you don't know how to do this, just send me a message, a private message, and I'll send you pictures how to do it. And I don't remember if you can do this at a non-paid YouTube account. I think you can, but I do not know.
You can do it on a YouTube account.
That is not paid on a monthly subscription?
Yeah, you can still do it.
You can? Okay, good. Because it's very important. Actually, have any of you read this autobiography?
I feel like I have it somewhere. I don't know that I read it, but I've read some Benjamin Franklin. I have the Poor Richard's Almanac. I feel like I have the autobiography somewhere, but Benjamin Franklin, just to make some points about him, very, 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 very smart dude. He was what is known as a polymath. Polymath is a person that's good in a lot of different things, and a lot of people don't know that about him. I mean, maybe people who studied him know that about him, but maybe some of us otherwise only really know him for the thing that we know him for. But there's so much more to him. The guy was like very good at a lot of things. Whether it was building wealth, whether it was just I can go on and on, I guess, without going too much into it. So this should be a pretty good read to learn some really good stuff about him, to know, find out what he was really about, and the fact that, he was in a lot of different things that people are very unaware. It'll be very, very something very good to actually read about.
He was a jack of all trades. That's true, and I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to get ahead for anyone who has not listened to it. But again, as I always encourage you, it's 6 hours long. Listen to as much as you can. You do it while you're walking, while you're doing exercise, while you're driving in the car, while you're, cooking, whatever it may be. Listen to it. You can do it. All you have to do is 30 minutes at a time. It will work. Lock it in. That's what CEOs do. I love to get an hour of exercise, but I cannot do it now because otherwise it won't fit my schedule. I have to limit myself 20 to 30 minutes. Whether I like it or not, I stop. Sometimes I can only do 15 and I have to stop because otherwise I won't get everything else done. So you've got to act like a CEO. You have to be in charge. All right? Take control. You're the pilot. All right? Until Thursday, for any of you who are interested, we'll meet up again. And I'm going on live in Facebook in about 8 to 10 minutes, 9, 10, for anyone who's interested in stock trading. If not, until Thursday for the rest of you. And I'll send Benjamin Franklin's autobiography in a little while. All right? Everyone, have a great evening. And thank you to each of you for being here. Dennis, Charles, Ariane, Dequan, Reggie, and Trudy, and Ty. Thank you very, very much. Many more blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Have a great night, everyone.
Got it. 100%.
Thank you, David. Have a great
Good
night.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.